What's happening, guys? This is Adi again with Gate 7 International, and this is our latest Patreon series interviews. And we are really, really excited to have with us the agent of Doran Leidner, current Olympiacos player who is still recovering from his injury. Very close, though, we're told. And we have Idan here from iScout Limited, and he's here to talk to us about a few different things. He's here to talk to us about what it's like to be a football agent and various other things that are in the business. Idan, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Matt. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. I look forward to getting into the discussion. There's a lot of great stuff, a lot of things that I know our followers are really excited to learn about because everyone talks about football agents. But then when you ask somebody what they think a football agent does, no one gives you the same answer. So I think having the clarity here is going to be very valuable for everybody to learn. Now, we want to get started, as always, with some background questions about your life in football. So, if you don't mind explaining to us, how did you come to love football? What is your background in football? Did you grow up playing it? Maybe you just had interest in the sport. When did it start? Tell us about your background in football.
Well, my background in football has started when I was a child, like everyone. Um, I used to play in a few local clubs in Ashdod, city in Israel, the city I used to live, and I'm living here also today. At the age of 21, I became a coach. So you can understand that you will not find on my CV ex-professional footballer.
So, tell us then, how did that transform into you becoming a football agent?
I've served in several key positions during these days, but what has always spoken to me is to be an assistant for young players, to work with them during their journey, mainly to be an advisor for their decisions. And this is mostly what an agent does.
So, let's then talk about that part a little bit, because you just kind of led into the next question is, which what is an agent? What does an agent do? So outside of representing a player, obviously you represent his interests. What do you do in your day-to-day life as an agent? Maybe it would be easier if you explain like what your daily routine. Do you have a routine? Like tell us what that's like. What do you do as an agent?
Look, as an agent, I can plan a weekly schedule, a monthly schedule, a yearly schedule, but you always need to keep for yourself the possibility for changes in a moment, especially during the transfer window period. You always need to remember that you are responsible and you are in charge for your client's future. So you need to be available for them 24/7, to be in contact with them, to be aware of their status, even in their personal life. Always strive to create new connections with clubs, collaborations with agents. You need to search for new players, especially usually in Saturday morning when you going to see youth games. You need to know how to read the scouting reports, and of course to prepare yourself to the next transfer window. But this is mostly the missions that you must to fulfill. But permanent schedule doesn't exist. Every day, each day is different from each other.
So it's a lot more you just kind of follow, you go with the wind as they say, right? You go where the job takes you, you do whatever you have to do to get things moving not just for yourself but for your players. Now, who was the first player you signed when you became a sporting agent?
Um, my first player that I signed to represent was and still Dor Turgeman. Dor is a talent player, plays at Maccabi Tel Aviv. He had an amazing year with great achievements. He finished third place with the under 20 in the World Cup in Argentina. Finished first place with the under 21 in the Euro. And also he had great performances in the senior national team of Israel. In Maccabi Tel Aviv, he's still fighting to get more appearances as a starter because his competition is with the striker Ran Zehavi. I think he was linked to Olympiacos 2 years ago. Anyway, his average at Maccabi Tel Aviv, those averages still amazing. He's scoring a goal I think, around every 80 minutes, something like this. Yesterday, he scored his ninth goal in this season.
So does that mean Maccabi Tel Aviv was the first team you made a deal with for a player?
No, the first team that I had a meeting with them in professional contract was with Hapoel Tel Aviv. My first meeting with them was with the president. I remember the first meeting with him. I was very nervous, but full of confidence and was full of motivation. I even recorded the meeting. I hope the president will not see this interview. In the end of the meeting, I signed for the club two young players for their first professional contract. And it was an excited moment for me as a young agent.
That's really cool. Wow. Uh, that would I just always think about what it would like to be in the president's room trying to make a deal. That's an incredible feeling. Now, let me ask you, so and maybe you can give specifics that you're allowed to share with us. That's up to you. What is the process, the full process of getting a deal done for a player that you represent? For are from the time even are teams do teams come looking for your players? Do you have to find teams for your players? Do you have to help clubs make deals? Like, do you have you always hear about these side deals that are done from agents to get players one way, but they have to help a deal go the other. What for you, what is there like a uniform process that happens? Tell us about maybe a deal that you've done, or are they all different?
Um, to be honest, it's easier to get a done deal when you represent an attractive player. But you should be ready before the transfer window is open. For instance, how many of your clients you are willing to transfer, whether if it will be a loan or transfer transactions. You should be aware as well of your club requests. Sometimes you need to find out yourself what clubs need, and sometimes the clubs will send you to the request. Um, Knowledge is power as an agent. When you know which teams are looking for a player with the same profile like your player, it's easier to get the deal done.
Right. That makes sense. Now, have you ever had to help a player choose between multiple offers? Um, I know the rumors when Doron came to Olympiacos, there were rumors of multiple offers. And if you had to help with that, how did you help narrow down the choices?
Um, that happens almost every time. Usually, the decisions of the player depends on the status of the player. For young players, you need to search and you need to do a research about the club, about the philosophy of the club, about the reputation of the club of development young players. As a grown player, it makes sense you should put above of your list the financial issue.
Now, are the negotiations between clubs we're talking about, has it been similar for you? Because you've dealt with clubs in Israel, you've dealt with clubs outside of Israel. Has the process of making a deal been different at each club you've spoken to, or is it more or less about the same?
No, it's not the same. I can tell you that in one club, if you want to get 100, you need to ask 200 at the beginning. And in other club, if you will ask 200 to get 100, you can destroy the negotiation from the beginning. So you need to have some knowledge and some background about who you are dealing with. And regarding Olympiacos, CAA base, we are iScout. iScout is a JV partner of CAA base, and CAA base dealing with Olympiacos regarding Doron. So I cannot tell you how it was.
Oh, I see. So they put the deal together on your behalf
Yeah,
because they had the relationship. Well, there you go. It saves you a trip, right? To
yeah.
going to Greece to have to do that. Now, specifically regarding Doron, how did you find him?
Well, I watched some of his games when he was 16 years old at Hapoel Tel Aviv. I saw an amazing player with great skills. Um, I met him with his father. I immediately understood that he's not only a great player but also a great person. We signed for our first representation contract, and I'm still thankful for his trust.
When he was looking at Olympiacos, he was listed in the Football Observatory as one of the top prospects of his age class. So when he was making decisions about which club to sign for, what made him choose Olympiacos over his other options?
Well, his dream was and still to play in the Premier League. And the fact that Olympiacos sold two left backs to the Premier League in the last decade, and also the connection to Nottingham Forest, it helped us to make the decision and to reject other offers, even with higher salary.
Oh wow. So he he had multiple offers, but this for him, he saw a lot of value, not just in Olympiacos as a club, but also the business we've done to get players into the Premier League, which we've actually sold quite a few,
Yeah.
not just left backs as well. Now
Mhm.
Doron suffered the injury to his knee, and it's been a very long road to recovery. Do you find that even though you're his agent, you're representing him, do you have to get involved in the psychological management of a player? Because these long injuries, these recoveries, and they break up a professional career, they're very difficult. I was never a professional, but I've suffered two ACL injuries. One case was almost a full knee reconstruction. And it's hard to motivate yourself sometimes to do what you need to do to heal and to go back to normal. So do you find that in addition to representing Doron professionally, do you also have to help motivate him through injury and through maybe even rough patches of his career when he's not in form? Is that something you have to do as an agent as well?
Yes. As an agent, you find yourself many times as a mentor and getting involved in the psychology management. Specifically regarding Doron's injury, it was much easier because Doron is a tough man, always positive, and I think he supported me more than I supported him. It's a matter of days now to be back to full training with the team, and we are excited. Um, and after saying this, I would like, with your permission, of course, I would like to use your platform and take the opportunity to say big thank you for all Olympiacos family for their support and for the professional treatment, the physio staff, Theos, the doctor who operated Doron. I know it was a complicated operation and he did an amazing job. And touch wood, since Doron is so close to be better than ever. But what is not less important is the kind treatment and the fitness staff, especially Costas, who has so much passion and desire to make the recovery better than perfect, and we are thankful for that as well. And of course, big thank you as well to Stella and Mr. Karapapas and Mr. Marinakis, and I'm sorry if I forgot someone.
Oh, that's fantastic. We always love to hear when the club and the administration and everybody surrounding are being very supportive and helping the player do everything that he can. We've heard a lot about the physio staff as well. They do some very great work. The nutritionist as well. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet him, Hernani Gomez. He does. We've heard great things. We've seen great results from him as well. So, but it's very everything you've said, it's very interesting because being a football agent, it's so much more than just, people look at what they read in the paper, George Mendez, Mino Raiola, they fly, deal here, but there's so much more to it. You're not just making deals all the time. You have to find for yourself, for your own career, you have to find players. You have to prepare yourself. Which players do I have to get a move for? Who's going to need a job? You have to also be there for them to talk to them. You're a professional agent for them. You're like a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it. But then at the same time, you're a negotiator for the clubs too, because you have to find who you're going to go between. So there's so much more to what you do than just what we see in the papers. Is there anything that we maybe didn't touch on that I missed that you do that you that maybe you want to share as well? No?
I
So
think that's it.
so that sounds like we've covered about all of our bases with
Yeah.
regards to what it is to be a football agent. So thank you for sharing that. It's very interesting information. And like we do with all of our guests, we like to do what we call a quick fire round, just a few quick questions. First thing that comes to your head, just so we can get to know you a little bit better. So for this, we're going to start with your favorite food.
Ah, until a few months ago, I would say a good steak, but after I ate the duck dish at the Dracolis in Athens, I would definitely say the duck.
Oh wow, very cool. Nice advertisement. We'll tell that to everybody as well. Now, what about your favorite movie and favorite show?
No question about it. Seinfeld.
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
What about movie? Do you have a favorite movie?
Big Wednesday surfing film from the 80, from the
Very
80s.
nice. What's your favorite place to go for vacation?
Um, there is not a favorite place, but there is a favorite time, and I would say in September and in February, right after the transfer we do.
I understand. I understand entirely. What is your favorite football memory? It can be with your career, you witnessing something, anything related to football. What's your favorite memory with football?
I can't say which memory, but obviously one of the greatest moments of my clients that makes me excited. Maybe the Dor Turgeman's goals against Brazil with the under 20, or against Germany with the under 21, or Doron Leidner's assist with the senior national team, something like this. But makes me more excited than to see a goal of Messi or Ronaldo or something like this.
If money wasn't a problem, where would you like to go?
I don't have a
Anywhere
specific.
in the world, where would you go? Anywhere, any place, anything,
Obviously, I would travel all over the world. I don't have a specific destination.
just to see whatever the world has to offer. It's
Uh,
not a bad answer either. Well, that's all that we have for today. Mr. Idan, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you again for giving us a little bit of insight into what goes on in the life of a football agent. Thank you for talking to us about Doron as well, and some of your interactions with Olympiacos was very uplifting to hear. Do you have anything else you would like to say to the fans, to the audience before we go ahead and close up here? Any projects you're doing that maybe they should follow, where they can follow you on social media?
I just want to say big thank you also to Gate 7 International. I mentioned the physio staff, the fitness staff, all the government of Olympiacos, but Gate 7 International, since the first day of Doron in Athens, always supported him and always cared about him. And even with this injury and the recovery, is still in contact, still in touch. And big thank you for your trust.
Thank you, and thank you for everything. Thank you for choosing Olympiacos. He's a very talented player. We look forward to seeing Doron after he's healed, which you had told us before. It's close. He'll be back training with the first team soon. We're very excited to see that. Very excited to see him with everyone. Idan, thank you again so much for joining us, guys. This is Gate 7 International by the fans for the fans. This is your latest Patreon interview with Idan from iScout Limited, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.